Advocate. We're at the On-Air Advocate. We look to provide education, support, and empowerment for all of those with different abilities, mental and medical illnesses, and their caregivers. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Tammy Flynn, and I am the host and producer of the On-Air Advocate. And I am super excited if you are joining us here this afternoon or whether you are catching this on the replay. Now, as you guys already know, if you think any of the content we're talking about today could be relevant for the people within your circle, please hit the share button and share the love with others. So as you guys know, we are in our wrap up of our rare disease awareness interview series. And I am so excited that I had the opportunity to still get Kayla Cares for Kids in for this series for the wrap up of our rare disease awareness interview series. And so today I have with me not only Kayla, but her mom, Andrea, that is also here. Oh, she gets a feature. I love it. From Kayla Cares for Kids. And we're going to find out more about that organization, but get a little bit of background story from mom and everything else. So welcome, you guys.
Hi. Hi.
All the way here. And you guys are where? What state are you guys in?
We're in Florida, North Palm Beach.
All right. And I bet it's warm there today.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's shorts and t-shirt weather.
And we're in the Midwest, and it's 20-something degrees. So we won't dwell on that for very long, that you're in the sunshine. But I'm so excited to have you both here today. And does your friend in the back of you guys, does he or she have a name, your animal back here?
This is my little brother's, and he wanted him to be part of the interview.
Oh,
so
I want him to get showcased. I love it. Well, he is doing a great job. So, Andrea, could you maybe take us through the beginning years of the story, a little bit of the background? I know that actually not only Kayla, but your son also has some chronic medical conditions. And I don't know if they both suffer from rare disease, but I know that they both have some, background in that.
Yes, so Kayla is our oldest child. We have 3 children, and Kayla was born, everything was normal. I had a normal pregnancy. I always craved guacamole, and she loves guacamole now. But everything was normal. And then when she was about 6 years old, she started having stomach problems. And at first, I didn't think too much of it, but it got so debilitating that we went to a gastroenterologist. And they ended up doing an endoscopy, colonoscopy at that young age of 6. And they discovered some colitis. I think they called it microscopic colitis. With a family history of Crohn's, my husband has a family member with Crohn's, and the doctors were thinking this might be a precursor, so why don't we treat it with a medication that's used for Crohn's, but it was kind of like a entry level type medication. And so we did that for about 2 years, and everything seemed to be great and under control. And then I think she was in 5th grade, and 5th grade she started having more intense problems, and she ended up being in and out of the hospital a lot. And because we live in Florida, we were going for care. At that point, we were going for care at Nicholas Children's Hospital. Backing up just a little bit, so Kayla was in 5th grade, being treated with some medication, and then my youngest son, Ethan, when he was 5 years old, he started having a problem with his hip. And in the beginning, it all started with Halloween. He was running around with kids, trick-or-treating, and he ended up falling down a hill. And when he came home that night, he said, "Mommy, my leg hurts me." And I was thinking, okay, you've been running around a lot. You probably pulled a muscle. So I gave him an ice pack. I gave him an ibuprofen, and I thought the next day it was going to be better. The next day it wasn't. So we did the same thing again. And then 2 days later, he kept telling me, "Mommy, my leg is hurting me more." So I took him to the pediatrician, And I felt embarrassed saying to this pediatrician, okay, I know he probably has a pulled muscle, and I'm sorry to be bringing him here, but we just want to make sure that's what it is. And the pediatrician immediately said, it isn't his muscle. Even though Ethan was pointing to his thigh area, it was his hip. And he said, you need to go to a pediatric orthopedist. So that's what we did. The pediatric orthopedist thought that it was something called Legg-Perthes disease, which is an orthopedic condition. We ended up going to Shriners Hospital in Tampa for 3 months, and Ethan was confined to a wheelchair. Legg-Perthes disease is something where they want to preserve the hip bone. So they had to stabilize the leg. They didn't want it moving. They didn't want any of that area to die. So then it was 3 months later, several x-rays later, they realized, you know what? This isn't Legg-Perthes disease. This might be rheumatological. So we recommend you go to a rheumatologist. And I looked up pediatric rheumatologist and couldn't really find much in the area. And then somebody popped up in Miami. So I decided, okay, we'll go to Miami and have this doctor take a look at Ethan. And that's what he did. Within the first 5 minutes of evaluating Ethan, he said he has spondyloarthropathy. What? It's a type of arthritis, and it's related to the whole IBD, the Crohn's thing. When you have GI issues and you have the bone and inflammation issues. So we started treating him for that. Meanwhile, Kayla was kind of going in and out of having stomach pain, but Ethan was taking priority. He stopped eating. 6 months after the diagnosis of the juvenile arthritis, he just stopped eating. And he was starting to lose weight. And at that point, I was telling different doctors, my son isn't eating, I'm really concerned. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's just going through a phase. Oh, you're just an overly concerned mom. Don't worry about it. But you don't understand. He's losing weight. Look at his weight. You can see it dropping. I am calculating he's eating less than 500 calories a day. This is not good. Right. So the rheumatologist immediately called up the gastroenterologist. The rheumatologist finally believed me, and he called up the gastroenterologist. Long story short, Ethan had an endoscopy, colonoscopy, and they discovered he had a very intense condition of eosinophilic esophagitis. Okay, eosinophils are a type of white blood cell, and you're not supposed to have any in your esophagus. And when you do get them, it causes inflammation, and that's why he stopped eating. His esophagus was so inflamed that he physically could not swallow. So they immediately put in an NG tube, and they were feeding him with formula. And then going back to Kayla, she was having stomach issues, and then she was going in and out of Nicholas Children's Hospital as well. So I'm going to let her take over and tell you at that point what was going on with her.
So I didn't have a proper diagnosis, and this was around when I was 10 or 11, and I kept on going in and out of the hospital, and then Ethan was also doing the same thing, and I came home from a 2-week-long hospital stay. It must have been when I was 11. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that there were 2 Thomas the Train DVDs in our our DVD library. And I realized that I wasn't watching it anymore and Ethan wasn't watching it anymore. So the next time we had to go to the hospital, I brought those DVDs with us because I wanted to give it to the hospital just to lighten another patient's life because there wasn't many movies to watch there. And the nurses at the front desk were so appreciative of the 2 Thomas the Train DVDs. I was like, wow, I can do so much more with this. So I started a collection around the neighborhood. We printed out flyers, and we got the whole neighborhood involved. And then our local a news source, the Palm Beach Post, got involved, and they did a news article. And about 5 or 6 days later, I think we had 300 DVDs in our living room when our original goal was 100.
Oh
and
And then immediately her Girl Scout troop got involved. They wanted to help out, and the entire elementary school where a lot of these girls were going. So it blew up locally very quickly. And we thought, okay, we're just going to donate all these to Nicholas Children's Hospital. But we had way too many to give to them.
So we gave the initial first 300 that were in our living room to Nicholas Children's Hospital, but there were still more donations coming.
By the hundreds. They were coming in by the mail, and our front door, neighbors were dropping off bags.
And because Ethan had been so involved with the Shriners, because they thought he had like Burkitt's disease, our next donation was to 5 different Shriners hospitals in 5 different states. So I think we gave them 50 items each. No, 100 items.
We had 500
Yes.
DVDs that we gave to Shriners Hospital, and we told them to divide it amongst their 10 neediest locations.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we had already begun being national, like a few months into the making. We didn't even have a name for the organization. We were using a Microsoft clip art, and it was just kind of like Kayla's donation drive. We realized we needed a name, so we came up with Kayla Cares for Kids. It was nice and simple and fun. And then
And
we
is
started.
that girl on your shirt, she's kind of you when you were younger, right?
Yeah. So I
like
helped design the logo with our graphic designer, and I told her I wanted something bubbly and happy. So I guess she drew me. I'm not really sure. People say it looks like me.
An incredibly talented graphic artist just kind of fell in our lap. She was actually working for the Girl Scouts at the time, and she was interviewing Kayla for an article that she was writing for our local Girl Scout chapter. And then she said at the end of the whole interview, I love what you're doing. I want to help. I want to give you a logo. And so she was just magnificent. Very, very talented. We love you, Steffi.
And, and a logo, it really puts the thought in the dream all together, like all the pieces, like it all starts to come together when you have that logo. And especially with you helping to design it, that must have been awesome.
It has just a little piece of me. Like I made sure all the eyes had hearts. So even on our business card, the eyes have hearts for every little word.
I love that. And so you guys were doing the DVDs, right? But then did it merge into doing more types of things, didn't it, from what I was reading? What is that about?
Yeah, so
collecting more things.
Well, as a mom, spending half of my life in a hospital room, either with Kayla or Ethan, I felt like, okay, these kids are missing out on a lot of education. So we need to be providing some type of educational books for reading, math books, science books, history books, whatever we could get donated that could be well used and appreciated by the hospital. So that's when we opened up for book donations.
Nice. And so when was that? Was that about a year into it?
Not even.
No, it was less than a year.
Yeah.
And then people started donating some other things, and we started thinking about game consoles that when a kid is in a room for a really long time, for example, the kids that are in the oncology unit, and they might be there for months, they want to have a game system that they can play with and get their mind off of things. And so we started getting donations of people's old Wii's because they were updating the Wii U. Same with Xbox, they were updating the Xbox One. So it was easy for people to donate to us. They knew that they weren't going to be able to sell it for that much money, and why not give it to a children's hospital where it's really well needed? So we opened it up to that in video games and just anything that parents and kids being hospitalized would want and need while they're there for a long time for treatment.
And this is where it kind of gets into the rare disease part. Around this time is when we started looking for more hospitals for Ethan because his disease was so rare and they didn't know how to treat it in Miami Children's Hospital. So there were 5 hospitals that treated eosinophilic esophagitis.
At that
like
time.
Special hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is your story to tell because you tell it really well.
Okay, so being a former journalist, I immediately, as soon as Ethan got this diagnosis of eosinophilic esophagitis, and he had the NG tube, he was being formula fed, and they were even suggesting putting in a G tube. And that's when I kind of freaked out, and I was thinking, oh no, I don't want a G tube, I want a second opinion. So I found these 5 special hospitals in the United States at that time that were treating eosinophilic esophagitis. And we ended up going to Children's Hospital, Colorado. And they had a dynamite team that we work with to this day, Dr. Glenn Ferruta, Dr. Atkins, their whole IBD team. They incorporate anybody and everybody that is needed. So at the time, we needed gastro, rheumatology, even psychology, because it starts creating issues of anxiety, possibly depression, and all sorts of other things that are going to go along with a lot of medical procedures. And they're just fabulous there. So I can't say enough good things about that place, Children's Hospital Colorado in Aurora, and we go every year still to get regular checkups for Kayla and Ethan.
And so Kayla Cares for Kids was already national by this time because of Shriners Children's Hospitals. So we started making a goal of donating to every hospital, or like every state. Mm-hmm. We wanted to donate 100 items to every state. So while we were going on the visit to the Colorado Children's Hospital, we packed a suitcase full of items and we hand-delivered it to Colorado Children's Hospital. If you scroll down far enough, there's a picture on our Facebook page of me wearing a penguin hat. And I'm hugging one of the doctors, and we have a wagon full of items. And that's when we started making like big hand deliveries to other states. And we've made it a point whenever we visit a new hospital, we always bring a huge bag or suitcase or box of items to give to them. And that's really fun because you get to see the reactions on the kids' faces. And that's my favorite part of the whole thing, is seeing how happy it makes them.
So as on, you guys actually started to travel to every state that you were delivering to. You weren't just shipping it to them.
Not every state, but we were traveling to as many as possible.
It was a combination. Shipment was the main source for going out to all the states in general. But if ever we had a business trip, a medical trip, a family fun trip, we always made it a point to find a place to make a donation, an in-person donation. And we would even arrange to do crafts events with the kids because, like Kayla said, it's so meaningful to have personal interaction. Kayla loves interacting with the kids. They just adore her. She's got this magnetic personality, and she really is caring and full of heart and love, and they feel it. And I love interacting with the parents and offering any kind of support that I can. I've been doing a lot of medical research, and we now have a lot of other diagnoses, and I feel like I'm halfway through medical school.
I think we all do, yes. We all could be our doctors in our own conditions of our children that we know about. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So whatever support I can offer to parents, I love being able to do that.
That is so wonderful. Now, when was the point within this journey that you guys were featured on NBC News? Because I'm assuming that might have taken things up a notch a little bit. Did it?
Definitely.
Did you feel like it changed the people, their awareness of knowing that Kayla Cares for Kids was out there?
So a lot of things happened during the NBC nightly news time. That was 2 years ago, I think. And we were approaching our 50 state mark. No, we had reached our 50 state goal. And then our goal was to donate to every children's hospital and every Ronald McDonald House in the country, because we had reached that big landmark and we wanted to go bigger. So NBC Nightly News found out about us and contacted us. So we made a goal that before they did the interview with us, to donate to all the children's hospitals and Ronald McDonald Houses. And Sony Pictures had just...
And DreamWorks Animation.
Yeah, Sony Pictures and DreamWorks Animations had found out about us, and they gave us a huge amount of DVDs. There was A Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. There was Kung Fu Panda 3. Mm-hmm. There were so many different movies, and so we made a little like factory line of us packing a DVD, and one from Sony, one from DreamWorks, putting a little letter in there with a little sticker and a heart, and then shipping it off to the hospital. And I think we packed up about 50 of those little packets to get to the last few children's hospitals and Ronald McDonald Houses. So right when NBC Nightly News came, we officially said we had donated to every children's hospital and every Ronald McDonald House. And it was just so amazing and such a huge kind of accomplishment. But I think when people saw the story, they were like, wow. And donations started flooding in, not just in kind, but actual monetary donations. And a lot of volunteers started coming. Even on the NBC Nightly News story, there's a clip, and it's all the volunteers that we had working in our storage unit, packing up boxes. And
it's so cool.
We just got so much support from the community and from the country. It was so amazing.
And we love involving students. You know, that's another thing, is that we will accept student volunteers of any age and any ability. And we emphasize that because there are a lot of limitations that are put on ages and abilities. But we say, whatever you are able to do, even if it's putting a sticker on a book, if it's opening up a DVD case to make sure the DVD matches the case, there are a lot of simple things that a lot of these kids are capable of. And we want to give them jobs and make them feel important and useful. So we love the student involvement. In Kayla's high school, well, her middle school, really it started with her elementary school. Her elementary school, middle school, and high school have been incredible resources, very supportive, and the whole community.
I just love it because it just shows, you know, so many that, you know, sometimes we're dealt some lemons, but you always can make lemonade. Those lemons. Sometimes it's not always the best situation, but showing that, you know, your rare disease, your chronic medical conditions doesn't stop you. It inspires you to help others. You know, I just absolutely love that. So for Kayla Cares for Kids, now you've gotten stuff to all the places in the United States, all the children's hospitals, right? And you've distributed to there. What is kind of the next steps as we're in 2019, 2020? What is kind of in the forecast?
Well, I think one of the big goals we have is to be a resource for hospitals where if they're ever needing new items, or if they don't even have items and don't know how to get them, they can contact us and we can send them exactly what they want. We even started doing things where hospitals can send us wish lists, or even doctors' offices are sending us wish lists, and we can give them the little tiny things that they need. And I feel like it helps them go a long way, and it makes us feel good. And I just want to be that resource that they can connect to.
That's awesome, because I do know that that's such a struggle within the children's hospitals, keeping things up to date too. I mean, there's movies, there's new games that come out all the time. So to keep up to date on that is pretty difficult, you know, and for you guys being a resource for that they can reach out to when in need. So right now you guys are still you're doing DVDs, you're doing video games, you're doing video game players, right? Like
console.
Game
portable DVD players are very much needed.
Very valuable.
Yeah, portable DVD players. Office Depot Foundation donated 200 regular DVD players, and we've been giving those out to a lot of facilities. Ronald McDonald House in Fort Lauderdale, Ronald McDonald House in Miami. None of the rooms had DVD players, and so we gave them probably a total of about 50 DVD players so that each room in both locations could have them.
Okay, and then you guys are also collecting board games. Do you guys do that too, like games of any kind?
Yeah, so we love getting board games and card games and just things that you can sit down and play with.
Arts and crafts.
Arts and crafts are great. When I'm in the hospital, there's something in Nicholas Children's Hospital in Miami called Bedside Buddies, and they have all these games, and sometimes they get like really kind of just icky and sticky and worn out, so it's always nice to replenish their supply and have the children have as much fun as I did when I was using them.
Yeah. Now, a lot of these places, they have certain protocols they need to follow with infection control. Mm-hmm. So a lot of these items need to be capable of being wiped clean. And right. And so some facilities will only take new only, and some facilities that I guess have less funding, less support, they're just happy to get anything.
Right. They'll take gently used items as well.
Yes. Yes. But everything has to be in really good condition.
And we do quality control checks. We have our volunteers that come to our office, make sure everything is up to our Kayla Cares for Kids standards.
I love that. I love that. Now, do you guys have on your website or maybe a list that we can drop below this live of items that you are collecting, or is there a link that we can drop below that will take people right to the list of items in case they're listening today and they're like, hey, I would love to donate something?
Yes, so on our homepage, I forgot what the tab header is, but the category is what we collect. And so that lists exactly the kinds of things that we need and the things that we're not capable of sharing.
Okay, and that we can just grab and we can drop that in the comments below. And in the links, so people are able to grab that. We can grab that and get that up there. And if others are listening today, they want to get in touch with you guys another way, whether that be for support, maybe they have some questions, for Kayla or for you, or in donating in any other way, is through the website the best way to get a hold of you guys, or your social media platforms? What is the best way to get in contact with you guys?
So we have emails. Mine is Kayla at KaylaCares4kids.org, and hers is Andrea at KaylaCares4kids.org. And if you email us, we try and get back to emails as quickly as possible. If we can provide any support or anyone wants to provide support for us, we are always willing to jump on board with it and give you what you need and help you give us what we need.
And we have a phone number listed on our website as well. So I think email and phone is like the quickest way to reach us.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking what will be valuable is we're going to drop below this live. We can drop your emails below the live, as well as the website itself, and then that direct link to the list of different things that could be donatable to you guys. Sound good?
Absolutely.
I think that's perfect.
Yeah. Another thing that I want to add is within doing all of this, it's really expanded my knowledge and my passion for helping the whole healthcare world in general. And I've gotten very involved in advocacy. It's something that I feel I can make a difference. And so our whole family has gotten involved. It started with the Arthritis Foundation. They have a very good advocacy program. And every year we go to Washington, D.C., and we meet with our senators, our congressmen, and we have certain asks that we know are related to bills and funding going on during that congressional period. And so we are educated on Monday and Tuesday. We go to Capitol Hill, meet with our lawmakers, hand the materials, and my kids share their personal stories. And I think it really tugs at some heartstrings to make them feel like these are real people, these are real stories, these are how my constituents are being affected. So I feel very empowered knowing that I can help with that. And I also do what I can with the eosinophilic world, the Crohn's and ulcerative colitis world, anything that has touched us in some way. And there are a lot of things. I'm not even going to list all of them, but anything that I can do to educate people, educate lawmakers, help to find a cure, help to get money raised. We love doing all of that.
And I think that, speaking to so many other parents that are out there, you're not only traveling the journey with one child that has chronic medical, illness, but 2 children, and that advocating and us using our voice and teaching our young adults, and kids how to use their voice and advocate for themselves and advocate for research, for all these things, not only makes a difference for us, but it makes a difference for so many others. And I think that's so important to keep using our voice all of the time.
Yes, this has been a really good lesson for all 3 kids and my husband and myself. This is real life experience that they can't learn from school. They can learn wonderful things at school, but going to Washington, D.C., or for us, going to our state capital in Tallahassee. Last year, Kayla ended up speaking on the floor of a committee meeting where they were talking about the bait and switch bill. So Kayla spoke on behalf of the Arthritis Foundation and really had a positive impact on those lawmakers that listened to her.
There was only one no.
That's right. There were people from insurance companies there that didn't want this passing, but then the real people like us who had stories of how we're being hit hard with it, and the lawmakers decided to come on our side. Unfortunately, it didn't pass the Senate side later on, but knowing that we did have a bit of an effect on these people, that we're doing something good.
Right. And, we just need to remember that no matter if something gets passed or it doesn't, we all need to, I can't ever stress that enough. We all need to still keep campaigning forward and using our voice for change. Because that's the only way it's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen the first time or the second or the third or the fourth or the fifth, it may happen the 6th, 7th, or 8th, but if we don't try, we'll never know. If we don't keep moving forward and campaigning.
Perseverance.
Perseverance at its best. Yes, definitely. Well, I am so happy that you guys took your time out on a Sunday afternoon, especially since you have sunshine that you could be sitting in right now, and you're sitting and talking to me.
She has some Girl Scout cookies she needs to sell.
Oh, are you going to do you have to go to one of the grocery stores? Is that where you guys sell them at? You guys do that?
We do it right in our front lawn because we have a corner and there's a little stop sign there, so all the cars can just stop and we can get them.
I wish it was nice enough here that kids could stand outside, but it's really, really cold. Though I have heard that's helped with some cookie sales, because if the kids have to stand outside the grocery stores and it's like, -10, people feel bad and they buy more. So that's going inside faster. So
yeah, we don't have that problem in Florida, unfortunately.
I know. I don't know. It has been a beast here in the Midwest. So people that must listen outside of the Midwest must be like, oh my gosh, all they do is crab about their weather. But it has been cold like since September.
Well, if any viewers are going to be in the West Palm Beach, Florida area, we have an office in North Palm Beach. We would love for you to come and visit. We'll give you a tour of our office. We have a room in the back. We have a front room, and then we have a back room that's filled with thousands of items that we get donated by book publishing companies and film companies and
donations from people all over the country.
Yeah, people all over the country that mail items or drop off items. So we would love to provide a tour. to anybody that might want to see what we do and help out in any way.
All of us from the Midwest should hop on a plane. We're coming to work.
Give us a call.
All right, we definitely will. So on that note, I'm going to drop all of your information below in the comments so that everybody can find you guys. I thank you so much again for spending your Sunday afternoon with us over here at the On Air Advocate. For anyone to learn more about the On Air Advocate and our services, you can head on over to onairadvocate.com and you'll find them all right there. If you would like to become a part of our private Facebook community, you can head to the top of this Facebook page, hit the blue button, and that will let you into our private community. And I wish you all a fabulous Sunday, a great start to your Monday. So it's going to be a wonderful Monday. I can feel it. Probably 90 for you guys outside, but you know, it's. And Kayla, I hope you sell all those Girl Scout cookies. So I think you just need a big sign today, like, buy my cookies. Are you doing it with a few friends today?
Just me, but I'll get it done.
I have confidence. I have confidence you will. Wonderful. Thank you guys again so much. And thank you all for following our Rare Disease Interviews series. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.